Hi, in this video tutorial we will learn how to multiply fractions. Let's take a look at this example. We need to multiply 1/2 by 5. We know what multiplying is. That is, we need to take 1/2 5 times. Let's write it down. That is, 1/2 multiplied by 5 is 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. That is 5 times. Now let's take these fractions according to the usual rule. We find the common denominator. Obviously, they will have a common denominator too. The additional multiplier will be the same everywhere. On top you get 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 and so on, 5 times. Let's write it down. We can rewrite the numerator in the following form. If you have 1 added to itself 5 times, then we can write it as 1 multiplied by 5. 1 multiplied by 5 is 5 seconds, or 2 whole 1/2. But most important is this. Note that when multiplying fractions by a natural number, we could write the result in this form. That is, in fact, we simply multiplied the numerator by this number and left unchanged the denominator. Thus, we have the following rule. To multiply a fraction by a number, we multiply the numerator by that number and leave the denominator unchanged. For example, to multiply 3/7 by 8, we just multiply 3 by 8. That would be 24. Leave the denominator unchanged, 24/7. Can convert it to a mixed fraction. That would be 3 whole 3/7. Now let's see how a fraction is multiplied by a fraction. Let's say we need to multiply a fraction 3/4 by, let's say, a fraction 1/2. In order to understand how these fractions are multiplied, let's imagine some square with a side 1, and we will divide one of these sides into 4 parts and take 3 of them. This side will just be equal to 3/4. We will divide the other side into 2 parts and take 1 of them. This side will just be 1/2. Now let's draw horizontal and vertical lines. Three-fourths multiplied by 1/2, that is, this side multiplied by this side, gives us the area of this rectangle. The area of this rectangle obviously equals 3/8 of the entire square. That is, it will equal 3/8. But how could we get 3/8? It is nothing but 3 times 1 on the top. 8 on the bottom is nothing but 4 times 2. Thus we got the following rule. To multiply a fraction by a fraction, we need to multiply the numerator with the numerator, multiply the denominator with the denominator. 5/8 must be multiplied by, let's say, 3/4. Multiply the numerator with the numerator, multiply 5 by 3, it will be 15. We multiply the denominator with the denominator. 8 times 4 is 32. That is, to multiply a fraction by a fraction, we multiply the numerators, we multiply the denominators. Now we will learn how to multiply mixed numbers. Let's say suppose we need the number 2 whole 3/4. Multiply, let's say, by 2. In order to multiply a mixed number by a natural number, we can proceed as follows. We can multiply both the integer part and this fraction by this number, twice 2. It will be 4. 3/4 multiplied by 2, it will be 6/4. And as a result, we received 4 whole 6/4. 6/4 firstly is reduced by 2. It will be 3 seconds. And secondly, the whole part takes out, so it will be 5 whole 1/2. That is, in order to multiply a mixed number by a natural number, we multiply both the integer part and the fractional part. Then the result, if it is possible to simplify, we simplify. If it is possible to take out the whole part, we take it out. And at the end, it will be the result of multiplying. But what if we multiply 2 mixed numbers? For example, 5 whole 1/3 multiplied by, let's say, 2 whole 1/2. In this case, we cannot simply multiply whole parts and fractional parts. To multiply 2 mixed numbers, we must first convert them to improper fractions. Let me remind you that in order to convert a number into an improper fraction, we multiply the integer part by the denominator. It will be 5 by 3, 15. We add the numerator, 16, and write it into the numerator, 16. The denominator remains 16 thirds. We translate the second fraction, the second mixed number. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. That is, it will be 5 second. Now we are multiplying two fractions. We know fractions. We multiply the numerator with the numerator, the denominator with the denominator. The only important thing in this case that we can further reduce. For example, 16 is reduced by 2. It will be 8. 2 by 2, it will be 1. And we can calculate the result from this option. 8 by 5, that's 40. 3 by 1 on the bottom, that's 3. 40 thirds. We can take out the whole part if necessary. Let's take a look at few more examples. Let's try to multiply these fractions. Let's start with the first one. To multiply two mixed numbers, we must convert them to an improper fraction. 1 whole 2 sevenths converts as 9 sevenths, because 1 times 7 plus 2 is 9. Similarly here, 1 times 4 plus 1 is 5. So that will be 5 fourths. It turns out now we are multiplying two ordinary fractions. In order to multiply them, we multiply the numerator with the numerator and the denominator with the denominator. It will be 45, 28. We can take out a whole part. It will be 1 whole. 17 28 here remains. Let's multiply the second one. We also need to convert 2 whole 3 fourths into an improper fraction. That will be 4. 2 times 4, 8, plus 3, 11. That is 11 fourths multiplied by 4 elevenths. In this case, we can reduce. 4 is reduced to 4. There will be 1 and 1 here. 11 is reduced to 11. There will be 1 and 1. As a result, 1 and 1 on the top. That is 1. The same thing on the bottom, 1. And we have 1 first as a result. Or just 1. Now let's consider the last example. We do exactly the same. Convert everything into an improper fraction, 7 whole 3 elevenths. The denominator remains. 7 times 11, 77. Add 3, 80. We get 8 elevenths. And multiply. We convert the second number. 2 times 40, 80. Plus 19, 99, 40s. It remains to calculate it. We can multiply the numerator with the numerator, multiply the denominator with the denominator, but it's much easier to simplify first. Namely, 80 and 40 are reduced by 40. 40 divided by 41 remains. 80 divided by 42 remains. In the same way, 99 is reduced with 11 by 11. We will have 1, 9 will remain here, and in the numerator we have 2 multiplied by 9, that is 18. And we get the 18 first, or just 18. This video lesson is over.